all doing good. So I'm excited today. We're actually going to be tackling one of the most common questions people usually ask about cloud engineering or cloud platforms, which should I learn first, right? But before I get into that, let me just hear from everyone. Okay, where are we joining from? Who's excited to be here? If you're excited to be here, just give a one in the chat box. I want to know that yes, we're excited. Okay, I'll just share my screen right. Okay. Seems like I'm not seeing any response from anybody. Okay. Okay, if we're excited to be here, give a one in the chat box. Okay, Chichi said it's excited. It's excited. Okay, Joy also excited. Okay. I'm also excited. All right. That's good. That's good. Okay. So yes, like I said, today we'll be looking at AWS versus Azure versus GCP, right? The best cloud platform for beginners. So if you don't have any experience, if you have no prior experience, or you're even feeling overwhelmed by all the options we have out here, like everything, this session is specifically designed for you, right? So by the end of the session, you have a clear roadmap for choosing your first cloud platform, or for choosing the right platform for you, and knowing exactly how you can get started, right? Knowing exactly how you can get started. So, but before we dive in, let's just okay. So this is what we're going to be doing, looking at the whole flow of today's session. So we'll be looking at the comparison for each of these platforms. And then we'll go talk about the pathway to becoming a data engineer, and then look into 10iT's growth internship program, and then the discounts we offer that you can jump on to get started. Okay, so before we get started, let me just talk a bit about 10iT. Who are we? So 10iT is an edtech company, right? We help Africans, people of the Black community learn premium tech skills and also get them into the tech space. And our services, our service offerings are aimed at building capacity and understanding across different tech fields. So if it's data analytics, business analysis, data engineering, data science, financial analytics, HR analytics, Scrum, cybersecurity, and AI engineering, and the entire data ecosystem. This is what we specialize in, and we have top professionals that are our facilitators from diverse sectors and organizations like Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, PwC. Okay, and we also have our courses that are structured in a way that would make it practical for you, okay, and give you that value that you are looking for. Okay. And with us on the call today, we also have Muideen. Okay, he has a lot of experience in the tech space, data analytics, business intelligence, and has also helped a lot of organizations streamline their operations to align with strategic goals. So we also have him here. He has also mentored and helped over 500 plus people transition into tech and land their first jobs with no paratech background. Okay, so we'll be hearing from him later on in the session. And then there's me, Taiwo, okay? So I'm a skilled data professional also with over 5 years of industry experience in data engineering, data analysis, and I've demonstrated efficient proficiency in Python, SQL, ETL processes, data warehousing. Okay, my experience spans across different industries, including technology, fintech, and FMCG telecommunications. Okay, so enough about me. Let's get started. Okay, let's get started. So now, before we get started, I want us to be on the same page, right? We're all talking about cloud. But before we even go into each of these cloud platforms, I want us to understand what cloud is all about. okay, what cloud computing is actually about. And if you don't understand what cloud computing is all about, I'm sure you won't even understand what you're getting into in any of these platforms, right? So cloud computing is now an integral part of every tech-driven business, from startups to global corporations. Okay? Simply put, it's the delivery of on-demand computing services over the internet on a pay-as-you-go basis. Now, what does this mean? So imagine you instead of managing or saving or storing your files or running your applications on a local storage or on a local computer or on a physical computer, cloud computing makes it easier, makes it possible to save them over the internet. You can access it over the internet, right? You can access your files, your applications, computing power through the internet instead of having everything stored physically or run physically on your computer, right? This shift has created massive opportunities for cloud professionals, which is why you're here today, right? So these cloud companies provide these cloud services, and they also need skilled engineers to design, build, and maintain pipelines, maintain systems. Okay, and that's where your career opportunity lies. And that's why we're here today, to be able to understand these cloud platforms and how you can get started in these cloud platforms. Okay, so let's proceed. Now, let's look at the market landscape. Let's look at the current cloud market landscape. Okay, so looking at this slide, you can see the reality of today's cloud markets. I mean, look at the numbers. These numbers should influence your career decision. As you can see, there are three clear leaders, starting from AWS, which holds 30% of market share, which is making it like the undisputed leader. And then we have Microsoft Azure, which is, sorry, which is coming in second with 20%. And this is just for Q2 2025. And it's growing rapidly. And then we have Google Cloud Platform, GCP, which holds 13% of the market. Now, if you notice from this chart, if you notice these three platforms, AWS, Azure, and GCP, control over 60% of the entire cloud market combined, right? The remaining providers like Alibaba Cloud, Oracle, Salesforce, IBM Cloud, and the others, they have a much smaller market share. They have smaller market shares, right? So what does this mean for you now as a beginner or someone in the tech space? It means that focusing your learning on one of these big three gives you the best career opportunities, right? The cloud infrastructure service market generated $99 billion in just Q2 2025 alone, with 25% year-over-year growth. Now, this is not just a trend. Yes, it's not just a trend. This is a fundamental shift in how businesses, companies operate. And the good thing is that this is creating thousands of new jobs every day, every week, every month. So you're not left out, right? You're not left out. You can never be late to the cloud party. That is not the normality. You can never be late to the cloud party, okay? You're right on time. You're arriving at the perfect time, and that is why you're here, okay? Now, let's look at how this impacts your career. What does this mean for your career? Okay, so looking at the job opportunities by each of this platform, okay, you can see that how they are distributed, starting with AWS, which is accounting for 60% of cloud job postings, right? So this makes sense because, I mean, they're like the market leadership. And then we have Azure, which accounts for 30% of job postings. And then GCP, 10% of job postings. Now, you might think, oh, obviously, I should learn AWS since it has most jobs, right? But here's the twist that most people miss. And this is actually very crucial and important for beginners like you, right? So less competition often means better opportunities for newcomers. I mean, you just want to get started, you want to get that job. When there's less competition, there are more opportunities for you, especially in Azure and GCP that it's not so crowded. Okay, so think about it logically. Everyone is learning AWS because they see that these jobs are more, they see the job numbers. But Azure and GCP have fewer people competing for these positions, right? So as a beginner, you might actually find it easier to land your first cloud role in Azure or GCP because there's less competition. But this does not mean you cannot also land a role in AWS. Okay, so this is one of like the insider insights that can significantly impact your career. Okay, so now let's look at each of this. Let's compare each of these platforms. Okay, let's compare each of these platforms and see how it matters to your career. Okay, let's see how it matters to your career. Now, starting with AWS, right, which is the largest, which you already know that 30% the largest. And AWS, they offer certifications for certification pathway for cloud practitioner, AWS certified cloud practitioner down to associate level. Okay, and they also offer 12 months free tier. So you may be wondering, oh, when I even get started, how can I learn hands-on, or how can I practice some of these things? The good thing is they offer free tier that you can use resources and yes, use based on how you use it. They offer that free 12-month free tier, right? And this AWS is best for general purpose, startups, enterprise. I mean, all round. That is what makes them the largest and like the leader. They are best for all round startups, big corporations, enterprises, everything. Everybody can use AWS, right? And then we have Azure, which accounts for 20%, like we know. And for the certification pathway, they have Azure fundamentals, as from Azure fundamentals down to the associate level. And same with Azure, they also offer $200 credits for 30 days. So if you want to get your hands dirty, I want to do some things, you sign up, create an account, you get 200 free credits that you can use in Azure. And then Azure is best for enterprise solutions, right? Hybrid cloud. They're not more, like I mentioned before, they're not more like general like AWS. They're more for enterprises. And if companies that use Microsoft more, have Microsoft experience, that is what Azure is best for. Okay. And then we have GCP, okay, which accounts for 13%. And the certification pathway is starting from the associate cloud engineer down to the professional level. And also, when you create an account, you get $300 free credits for 90 days, which you can use as hands-on to learn, to practice, right? And GCP is best for analytics, data analytics, AI, machine learning workloads. So anything that has to do with data analytics, AI, ML workloads, that is where you see GCP shining, right? So let's go into each of these platforms and let's understand what they do, why it's best to choose each of them, right? Now, starting with AWS, which is like the champion, the leader. Now, why would you want to choose AWS? Why would you want to choose AWS? First, it has a massive ecosystem with over 200 services, 200 plus services covering everything you can use. In fact, any kind of problem, any kind of solution, any kind of problem you're trying to solve, AWS probably has a service for it. Yes, that is why they're popularly known and like the leader in the market space. Any kind of problem you want to solve, AWS has a service for it. Okay. And then you have the job market dominance. Okay. Most cloud jobs require AWS knowledge, okay, which creates more opportunities for you. Okay. AWS is also good because they provide extensive documentation and learning resources. There are like thousands of tutorials out there, courses, documentation. One thing I always say is whatever tool you are learning, whatever platform you're learning, always read the documentation for that platform, for that tool. Okay, it goes a long way. Okay, it goes a long way. And that is where AWS also shines. They provide so much tutorials, so much documentation that you can learn from. Okay. Now, AWS is also known as the innovation leader. Okay, they've been around the longest. They've been around the longest, and they were like the first to come to the market with new technologies, new services. Okay, it's also startup friendly, and they've created diverse opportunities across different companies, different organizations. Okay, now while they have the good side, there are also potential drawbacks which you'd want to know. So now there's an overwhelming complexity. Okay, there's an overwhelming complexity. And what do I mean by this? So, especially for beginners, you see there are a lot of people, there's high competition. There's also the problem of pricing complexity. Okay, so if you want to use the AWS, you need to have a proper deep knowledge about its cost management. Yes, if you don't want to run into so much debt, you need to know how to manage the cost, especially when you're done with the free tier, right? You need to know how to manage the cost for the pricing, have a deep knowledge of it. Okay. And there's also high competition especially for entry-level positions, because everyone is learning AWS. Okay, everyone is learning AWS. Okay, so AWS is best for you if you want maximum job opportunities, if you want to thrive in complex environments, right? Or probably you're interested in startups. Most startups make use of AWS. Okay, and you also want to work with cutting edge technologies. AWS is the right platform for you. Okay, so let's look at the job opportunities they also offer. So AWS offers numerous career paths actually. So these are just like a few of them. So we have solutions architect, DevOps engineer, cloud developer. Okay, so solution architect, you are designing and deploying scalable systems on AWS. Okay, this is one of like the most sought after positions, and they actually pay well also. Then you have DevOps engineer, okay, where you're automating infrastructure and deployment processes. Okay, and then you have cloud developer. Okay, you're building cloud applications, cloud systems, maintaining cloud systems in the cloud. Okay, so the great thing about AWS is that these career paths are well defined, and there's a clear progression from junior level to senior levels in each of these roles. Okay, there's a clear progression. Okay, so now enough about AWS. Let's now get into Azure. Let's see why you would want to choose Azure, which is like the enterprise powerhouse. Now, why would you choose Azure? First, enterprise integration. Okay, so it integrates seamlessly with Microsoft ecosystem. So probably you have experience with Office 365, Windows, Active Directory, right? It integrates seamlessly. Okay, it also offers hybrid cloud. So it has Azure as the best on-premise to cloud integration available. Okay, many larger companies have existing Microsoft infrastructure, and then that is why Azure is like the best choice for them. Okay, and there's this growing demand for Azure. I mean, it's really growing fast based on the market share that we saw. It's growing rapidly. Okay, it's growing rapidly. Now, there are also some potential drawbacks for Azure. Okay, they have like a smaller ecosystem compared to AWS, which has like a larger ecosystem, massive ecosystem. Azure has a smaller ecosystem. That means there are like fewer opportunities in startup environments, right? There's also the documentation gaps. Unlike AWS that provides so much documentation for you to read from, they also have documentation, but it's less comprehensive than AWS. Okay, it's less comprehensive than AWS. And then this is another thing, Microsoft dependency. So if you don't have probably a background or experience in Microsoft, right, you may not really, you can still learn, but it's somewhat tied to Microsoft technologies. Everything that is Microsoft is connected to Azure, right? is tied to Microsoft technology. Well, Azure is best if you have a Microsoft background, like I mentioned before, or you are interested in Microsoft, okay? And you want to work in large enterprises, okay? You want to work in large enterprises. Azure is the best for you, okay? Azure is the best for you. Before I continue, let me just hear from us. So from what I've explained, which of the cloud platforms in AWS and Azure, which of them are you looking to learn when we get into GCP? Are we all following? If you're following, just give a 1 in the chat box. Okay. David Bamidele. Okay. Azure. Okay. Okay. Chidi said Azure. Okay. Okay. All right. Ibrahim also said Azure. All right. All right. Seems like we're all going towards Azure. Okay. David said he wants to learn AWS. Okay. Okay. Yes, Azure. Okay. Akim Azure. Paul Azure. All right. All right. All right. It seems like Azure is more easier to learn, although they, like I mentioned, they don't have as much documentation, but okay, Ibrahim said Azure is more common. Well, it's common, it's, like I said, it's growing already. It's now becoming in demand, but AWS is still like the leader. Yes, okay, yes, in the business world. Yes. AWS is still like the king, the leader in it's saturated, like it's everywhere, right? It's everywhere. Yes, yes, definitely. Akem, that's right. That's right. All right. So thank you everyone. So I'll just continue so we get the proper breakdown of each of this platform. Okay, so let's go ahead to look at the job opportunities for Azure. Okay. Now Azure also presents like diverse opportunities, job opportunities that you can get into. Okay, they have 3 main career tracks. They have the cloud solution architect, and this role you are designing cloud solutions using Azure services. Okay, you also have Azure administrator, where you're managing and maintaining Azure infrastructure. Okay, and then you have Azure developer, where you're building and deploying applications on Azure. Okay. The one thing I love about Azure is that Microsoft has created very clear career progression paths. Okay, they are clear progression paths, career paths, sorry, and they provide excellent training resources also. Although it's not as much as AWS, but they also provide their own training resources where you can learn through Microsoft Learn. If you've heard about it, it's Microsoft Learn. They have tutorials that you can read from. Okay, so that is it about Azure. Now let's look into the next cloud platform, which is GCP. Okay, finally, let's examine Google Cloud Platform, which is like the innovation specialist. Okay, so why would you choose GCP? Why would you choose GCP? Now, first, data and AI leadership. Okay, anything that has to do with AI or ML or even data, GCP is unmatched in machine learning and big data capabilities. GCP is unmatched. Okay, if you're interested in using cutting edge technologies, GCP is your best choice. Okay, secondly, GCP is developer friendly. Okay, it provides like a clean interface, and they also have excellent APIs. Okay, which many developers like find very pleasant to work with. And they also offer competitive pricing, okay? Cost effective, okay? And also innovation focused. Like I mentioned, AI, ML, it's more innovative, okay? They have serverless computing and machine learning technologies, okay? And another good thing about GCP is that it's less competitive, okay? It's easier to stand out. So if you go, okay, I want to quickly break into the tech field, I want to get a job, you can focus on GCP, learn GCP, okay? Because there's no more competition in GCP, and then you can stand out as an expert in GCP, okay? But there are also potential drawbacks using GCP, okay? GCP has a smaller job market, which means fewer opportunities, okay? Fewer opportunities, okay? And they have limited enterprise services, okay? There's this gap in traditional enterprise needs. Most enterprises, they don't really need or use GCP. So there's this gap, okay? And it's just coming out. It's a newer platform, actually. So it's not so mature in some areas, okay? And another thing is that it's depends, just like Azure depends on Microsoft, you have Google Cloud depending on Google strategy, anything Google, right? That is GCP for you. So GCP is best if you are interested in data science, AI, machine learning, or analytics, okay? If you also prefer like modern, clean interfaces, or you want to stand out from the crowd, you want to stand out, yes, you can go for GCP, okay? If you're also comfortable with smaller opportunities of smaller companies, or yeah, you can go for GCP, okay? Now let's look at the opportunities that GCP also provide. Okay, they also have career paths that you could get into. So they have cloud architects, still like designing scalable solutions on Google Cloud. And then you have data engineer, okay, where you're managing data pipelines and analytics on GCP, okay, given the strength that GCP has in data and AI. So this is like a real strong, really strong career path. And then you have cloud developer. So it's you creating and deploying applications on GCP, okay? So like I mentioned, one thing that is really interesting about GCP is that there's less competition, okay? If you get started in GCP, you can advance faster and even get paid like salary, like a higher salary due to scarcity of this expertise. So if you're really okay, I really want to get into this GCP, I want to learn it, follow, like have this dedicated career path, you can stand out because it's not, although like I mentioned, the opportunities are fewer, but it's not as common as AWS, okay? And then you also have Azure that is still growing rapidly and getting into the markets more, okay? So now, having looked at all these platforms, okay, now how can you make a decision? So this is a decision framework that would give you a systematic way to make a decision based on which platform you want to get into first, okay? So if you're, first of all, step one, you want to assess your background, okay? Where are you coming from? What are you familiar with? What experience do you have, okay? If you have programming experience, okay, you can get into all the platforms. Actually, you can you can use all the platforms, okay? But probably more of GCP, because it's more developer centric, right? Now, if you have Microsoft experience, you want to get into Azure naturally, right? You can pick Azure. And then if you have Linux or open source, you can go for AWS and GCP. There are more advantages in that, okay? So for career interest, if you want like broad opportunities, we already know that AWS is like, it has more opportunities, okay? Then if you prefer enterprise focus, choose Azure. And then if you want to specialize more in data and AI, machine learning, choose GCP. They're good at that, okay? It's good at that. Then secondly, you would want to consider location, geographic considerations, right? Like for example, in North America, AWS dominates, although Azure is also growing. And then in Europe, you have a strong presence, strong Azure presence in Europe. And then in Asia Pacific, you have, it's more balanced, although GCP is already gaining more popularity in Asia Pacific, okay? So you want to look at the location for when making a decision also. Now, looking at step 3, you also want to look at the industry you are in or the industry you want to get into. This is very important, okay? So for startups or tech companies, you'd want to consider AWS or GCP. Okay, for startups, for tech companies, you want to consider AWS or GCP. And then if you're working in the enterprise company or for government, in the government, you want to look at Azure or AWS. Okay. So depending on the industry you're in or the industry you want to get into, for example, also media and analytics, you want to go into GCP or AWS. Okay, and then you have healthcare or finance. You're looking at Azure, which is better for compliance, security, and then AWS, which offers a variety of services that you could use. Okay, so you want to look at first assess your background. Okay, understand the career interests. What do you want to do? Where are you coming from? What experience do you already have? If you don't have any experience, fine. But what do you want to get into? Okay, and consider the location where you are currently. Okay, consider your location. Okay, I'm in North America or the UK. Which of this cloud platform is dominating? Which of this cloud platform is popular? You want to get your hands into it, right? And then the industry that you're currently in or the industry you want to get into is something you would want to consider when making a decision. Okay, so take a moment, think about it. Think about where you fit in these categories, okay? This is just like guiding you on making that decision. Now, based on my personal experience and research, these are specific recommendations. So if you want maximum job opportunities, go for AWS. Okay, you're thinking, okay, I want more job opportunities. You get the broadest job market access if you get into AWS, right? Now, if you're saying, oh, I'm coming from a Microsoft background, go into Azure, right? You can leverage your existing knowledge and you just fit in naturally into Azure. You just fit in naturally. Okay. And then if you're thinking, oh, I'm interested in modern tech, don't mind smaller job markets, you can choose GCP. Okay. You can choose GCP. And then if you're completely new and you're feeling overwhelmed, just go for either Azure or GCP. Okay. Both have gentler like learning curves. They're more gentle when it comes to learning, okay, than AWS. And you can still get more entry-level roles for either of the two. Okay. So my honest advice though is that there's no perfect choice. There's no perfect choice. Okay. Pick the one that best aligns with your situation right now. Okay. That best aligns with what you're currently doing and commit to it to learn it. Okay. You can, once you stick to one, you can add additional platforms later. You can learn additional platforms later. So if you're starting with probably Azure, you can pick up GCP later on, you can pick up AWS later on. Okay. There's no perfect choice. Okay. Because as a cloud professional, cloud professionals actually work with all three. Yes, cloud professionals work with all three platforms. But for a start, you can just start with one and then get into the others later. Okay. Now, before I proceed, based on all this, which of the cloud platform, like so I said we should take a moment to looking at the decision framework. I know most people already said they wanted to go for Azure, but now if you've thought of, okay, what situation am I in? What location, the career interests? Do we still want to go for Azure? Or we've changed our minds? We've thought about it, assess the situation, assess our background, and say, okay, probably this is the right one for me, or probably this is the right one for me. Okay. So if you're still following, just type a 1 in the chat box. We're following. Okay, Brian. All right, Azure. All right. Okay, all right. 1. All right. That is good. Okay, Chidi said Azure and AWS. Okay. You can start with 1 and just add the other one, or you can learn it two actually together if you have the time. Okay. Okay, Paul, one. Okay, all right, all right, all right. All right. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So let's proceed. Let's proceed. Now that I've looked into each of these cloud platforms, let's look at some real world. Okay, Rashid said Azure and GCP. All right, that's good. Now let's look at some real world scenarios of what you'll be getting into once you get into these roles. Okay, what is it all about? Okay, so understanding these real world scenarios is very important. Okay, it's very, very important. It just gives you more context, okay, on what day to day you'll be doing as a cloud engineer or as a data engineer working with these cloud platforms. Okay, so as cloud engineer, you are solving complex problems, you are scaling applications, or you're securing data. Security is very important. Okay, these are some of the common challenges you face. Okay, and understanding this is very important. So starting with scaling, okay. So what you'll be doing is distributing traffic to maintain performance when, okay, let me give an example. So let's say you are building an application, okay, or probably you're even working in a team of the team of developers that are they're building a game application, right? Mobile game application. Now that game application, probably people probably 1,000 people were using it before. But now that game application now became popular overnight. Everybody said, "Oh, have you played this game? Have you played this game?" And the next day, the next thing you are seeing over 100 users using this game. Now, what is your job here? Your job here is to properly scale this application without it crashing, because you don't want it to affect the 100,000 users that are playing the game. Okay, so what your job is to design a system that will automatically add more servers when the traffic increases. So when you have that traffic from 1,000 users to 100,000 users, you want to design an application that will automatically add more servers so that your mobile application will not crash and you will not lose money in that process. Okay, that is one of the challenges or the things you actually be doing as a cloud engineer. Now, moving to security, okay, you would want to also protect data and infrastructure from threats or from hackers. Okay, so for example, you want to detect, you implement systems that will detect unusual login patterns or also protect sensitive data. Okay, only authorized people can access specific resources. Only authorized people can access specific data. Okay, so imagine probably somebody, an hacker, wants to hack or access the company's database, the company's customers database, right? If you've not set up anything, probably like a monitoring system that can catch that hacker, that's the end. Okay, so you want to set up a monitoring system that would catch when the hacker wants to intrude, okay, and then you block it before the hacker can even get into the database. Okay, you block that access before the hacker can get into the database. Okay, that's something you want to do. And also we have backup. Okay, you want to design systems that will restore services. Probably there's an outage or when things go wrong, because definitely things will go wrong. So you want, as you working in the companies or businesses, you'd want to back up important things, have backups or disaster recovery plans, okay? So that everything is still maintained and you don't have any deleted data or any lost data. So everything is easily restored, okay? And then we have data infrastructure, okay? As a data engineer, cloud engineer, you are building pipelines, storing data efficiently, okay? Especially in a data-driven economy, right? This is very valuable. Okay, you want to build systems that will automatically collect data, that will automatically transform data, or generate reports for the business. Okay, so these are just different scenarios that you would encounter. Okay, regardless of the platform, regardless of the cloud platform that you choose. Okay, these are all doing the same thing in the different platforms in AWS, in GCP, Azure. Okay, they offer the same solutions, similar solutions across these platforms, but these are the fundamental things you would encounter. Okay. Now, let's talk about the financial reality of cloud engineering careers, because I know it also matters. Okay, it's very important. It's not just you getting into it. It's also important. Okay, so looking at the salary data from multiple sources. Okay, in the United Kingdom, we have cloud data engineers earning between 43,000 to 68,000 pounds per year. Okay, with an average around 54,000 pounds. And then we have in the United States, cloud engineers average around $129 per year. Okay, with a range from 86,000 to $194,000, if even more, depending on your experience and location. Okay, and then in Canada, we have like 100,000 Canadian dollars per year. So these are like solid career sustaining salaries that would provide financial stability and growth as you get into it. Okay. So, but remember, with the right skills, with the right experience, you can earn more. You can, as long as you have that value, you can earn more. Okay. But the key point is that cloud engineering is a financially rewarding career path. Okay. That is why you need to get started with one of the cloud platforms. Okay. Regardless of the platform you choose or you start with, it's financially rewarding. Okay. Now, let's just look at this cloud infrastructure service that has just looking at the projected growth of this cloud infrastructure service market from 2024 to 2034. Okay, so if you look at the numbers, you see that it has grown from $142 billion to $680 billion. Okay, and this is just in 10 years, less than 10 years, right? I just show you that this is one of like the fastest growing technology sectors that you would come across, right? So what does this mean for you? It means that there is that demand for cloud engineers. Anything cloud, there is that demand, and it's going to keep growing. Okay, there's some companies are still in the early stages of their cloud transformation. Some companies are just moving into cloud. That's why I say you can never be late to cloud. You can never be late to the cloud. You're arriving at the perfect time. Okay, the market is mature enough for you. Okay, and there are learning resources that you can get into. Okay, it's growing fast, and there will still be more opportunities to come. So the earlier that you start, the better for you. The earlier you start, the better for you. Okay, now this growth means that the skills you learn, the experience you get will be valuable even in the next 5 years. Okay, it will be valuable even in the next 5 years. Okay, so no matter the platform you choose, if you choose AWS, good. If you choose Azure, good. If you choose GCP, just get started. That's the main thing. Get started with one. That's the most important thing. Okay. The biggest, once I normally say, is the biggest mistake you will make or you can make is something called analysis paralysis. Okay. Analysis paralysis. And what does it mean? Spending so much time researching, checking, okay, which one, without even doing anything. Stop researching and get started. Okay, start learning. And that is why 1096 we are offering you this training program. We have the training program that you can get started in with clear, structured curriculum. Okay, hands-on. Okay, so get started. The question isn't whether you should start. It's more about so it's not about the platform you should choose, but it's more about getting started. Okay, it's more about getting started. All right, so that concludes it for me. Any questions before I hand over? Any questions before I hand over? Okay, somebody said, which one would you recommend for someone who wants to work remotely for a startup in Europe? I would recommend Azure. So just like we saw in the slides, definitely recommend Azure. Like I mentioned, this decision framework, if you take a look at it, so you want to access your background, the career interest, and then the location. So if you look at Europe, you see, even the US, you see a strong presence of Azure. Okay, and then the US, you can see more of AWS. Okay, depending on the location. That's why I see you need to understand this decision framework. Okay, depending on the location, you decide on which cloud platform you get to choose. Okay. Yes. Rosemary said recommendation required for a remote job in librarianship career in. Okay, I'm not really sure I understand the question.
Yeah, I would take our own question.
Oh, okay, okay. All right. So I think that concludes it. So thank you everyone. I hope we all had a wonderful session. And please, like I mentioned, stop researching, stop doing nothing and get started. Okay. So if you want to get started in any of the cloud platforms, you'd want to also see how tonight is what we offer for you to get started. Okay. So I'll just be handing over to my colleague Moedin. Yeah, thank you. Okay, Rashid is raising his hand up. Can we take a question from Rashid? Okay, hand is raised.
Yes, we can quickly take that.
Okay.
Rashid, I asked you to unmute so you can unmute your mic and quickly ask your question.
Yes. Okay, please, can you hear me now?
Yes, you can.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much for having me. So, I would like to know which is best, aside, let's say I'm an aspiring, like data scientist and a data engineer. So I would like to know which cloud platform will best be able to be, let's say, will be beginner friendly to me as well. I did some inquiries, some were suggesting Azure, but right now from your presentation, I'm also seeing GCP is good for like data and AI rules. So I would like to know in between Azure and GCP, which one should be like will be good for someone like me who is now like cloud friendly and stuff.
Okay, so you say you're into like data science, AI, ML, right?
Yeah.
So honestly, I would say go for GCP. And like I mentioned before, you can actually stand out better in GCP because we know now we're in the age of AI, okay, machine learning. So if you want to go that route or you're from that experience, you have that background, you can first start with GCP. Although you can just when you start with GCP, then you add Azure later on. Okay, it cannot be left out. You can add it. Like I mentioned, a cloud professional still works with every other thing, all the cloud platforms. Okay, but you can start with GCP, okay, and get into it, and then Azure follows. Does that answer your question? Okay,
I think he's muted. So I think what we'll be looking out for is I'll get to answer every other person's question that you might have
okay.
while I walk you through how you'll be able to transition and get into the space where you get to learn cloud engineering and how you be able to get a job in this space. So when you're looking to transition, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're leaving one industry or you're leaving a particular job to get onto another job. Now, before you take this step, you want to take some actions or make some research to make sure that that sport you're looking to get into has that job security. And what we did, the analytics, what we did in this regard was we went ahead to look at the World Economic Forum, looking at the future of job report. And the report we got from them was is between now and 2030, which is 5 years from now, is less than 5 years from now, there are going to be 170 million jobs that will be created. Meaning between this range of these 5 years, like 4 years and few months, there's going to be a lot of jobs created, which is going to be to the tune of 170 million that will be created within this period. And at the same time, during this period, there's going to be 92 million jobs currently that is existing that will disappear. meaning there are some jobs that are existing currently that people are transitioning into. How are you going to be that much secured to be able to know that the one you are transitioning to is off the list of the ones that will disappear? And what we did was we went ahead to actually look at the report way more in depth to be able to identify which of the career path is going to grow and which of this career path is going to dwindle down and literally fade off. And in this report, we're able to see the fastest growing jobs. And in the fastest growing jobs, you can literally see that on top of the list, we have roles like big data scientist. Now, as a big data specialist, this is you becoming a data engineer. This particular report you can see on my screen, it's showing us, you can see some career path on the right side of your screen, while you can see some on the left side of your screen. Now, this career path that is on the right side of the screen, these are career paths that is going to be under the 92 million that will disappear. So if you are in that current role, you want to find a way to switch and jump to the left side of my screen, because on the left side of the screen, you will see career paths that are gradually going to increase and currently having high demand in this space. And if you look at the first one on the list, you have big data specialists, which are under the data engineering. If you see this particular list, you see data warehouse specialists, data engineers, database and network professionals. All these are under data engineer. Coupled with the fact that the cloud engineering also is also part of data engineering. So if you're looking to transition, want to know that, oh, considering the fast rise of GCP across globally, this is something I'll be looking to lean on to be able to skill myself in years to come, right? So these are things that you want to consider before you go ahead and you say, oh, I want to transition. And this particular report, like you can see, there's a link for you to get access to this particular report. So if you complete the form that my colleagues are sharing in the chat box, you will be able to get access. We'll share this slide with you via your email once we're done with the session, and you'll be able to click on the link and get access to this particular report, okay? And when you're looking at roles you can apply to after the data engineering program, aside from the fact that you can apply to all the major cloud platforms like my colleague Taiwo has mentioned, as Azure, GCP, and AWS, you have other roles that you can literally apply to after taking the data engineering program. You're having BI engineer or BI developer, ETL developer, data platform engineer, data migration specialist, moving data for organizations that are just literally starting up from on-premise to the cloud. All these things are something you can do. And all these roles pose a very fantastic opportunity, career growth, and even um, financial stability when it comes to the tech space. That's something you want to really lean on and grow. And when it comes to transitioning into the tech space majorly, you want to really focus on building your skill. There was a time that all you needed to do was just get certificates and you'll be good. But when it comes to the tech space, 2024, 2025, moving forward, it is pretty heavy on your technical know-how, on your technical ability. And this is a particular post from Elon Musk, where he was looking to hire developers, and it was pretty straightforward. He doesn't care about any school you went to. He doesn't care about any certificate you have your name on. What he cares about is he wants to see your portfolio, and he wants to see the project you worked on in your portfolio. He wants to see your codes, things you've done. You want to see them. And that is exactly how every organization is looking out for anybody they want to hire. When you get into an interview, there's a lot of scenario-based questions that you'll be asked, whereby they will ask them to walk them through how you were able to scale a particular data storage of an organization, how you were able to help them transition easily to the cloud base, and what did you get to do. The fact that you have hands-on experience, which you will have during the program, these are the things that we need to lean on, explain to them, show them the value that you have. So when you're looking to transition, you want to really focus on the ability to actually build your skill. And when you're looking at building your skill, if you look at the key learning areas for the data engineering program with analytics, if you see the first thing on the key learning area, you have introduction to data engineering. Meaning, if you're somebody that does not have any prior experience or any technical experience at all, you have the ability to get introduced to it, learn from that gradual stage, then learn exactly what it takes or what they need to learn to become data engineers. Then after introduction, you definitely get into SQL, structured query language. You learn how to use SQL to store information in the database. Then you learn Python programming because as a data engineer, that's majorly the major thing you get to work with SQL and Python, right? And the way you work with Python programming language is similar to the way that a software developer learn how to use Python. So you learn how to use it to build your ETL question pipelines, you learn how to use it to build your database, you learn how to use it to inject your APIs for your web scraping and a lot more, right? So these are the things you get to learn as a data engineer. Then you also learn your Apache Spark and Apache Airflow, which is automation of data retrieval process. Then definitely you will learn the cloud engineering, the cloud platform. You learn how to work with that as a data engineer. And when you're looking at the duration of your training, the total duration of your training is 8 months. But in these 8 months, you'll be in class, training, working on projects, multiple projects for 6 months. And when you're done with that in 6 months, you have 2 months internship. Your internship is done with our sister company, Amdari. I'm directly in the consulting space, meaning you have opportunity to work on real life projects. And much more beneficial to you is these real life projects must have work done during your internship. You have the ability to add them to your portfolio, to show your skill, things that you've been able to do. Meaning when you get into any interview and they ask you about a question about the time when you did something or did that, you have something to show for it, and you will actually be able to talk about it because you actually did it. You did it in class while learning in 6 months. And you also did it during your internship, giving you a much more robust and solid command over your skill and your competence. So these are the things you get to do for the duration of 6 months. And for the classes, you have your live instructor-led class on Saturdays, right? You have that every other Saturday in a month. And all the week long, you watch me do it self-paced. So your classes are much more blended. You have your live class and you have your self-paced, which you get to be part of 100%. And for people that are in West Africa, Europe, UK, you work the time zone on Saturdays, you have your classes 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. UK time, West African time. And for people in Canada, because I saw someone in Canada and US in the chat box, yours is going to be 10 a.m. MST, that's Mountain Standard Time, or 1 p.m. EST, that's Eastern Standard Time on Saturday, right? So these are the times of your training. And one very good thing about your classes are in a situation whereby you miss the class because we are all adults, something might what I need to attend to, I will not give you the opportunity to join the class on that particular time. Your classes are always recorded. You have access to them 100%, and your access to them are lifetime access, meaning even when you're done with your training, you still get access to your videos. And also, in case you miss any class, they worked on a particular project, you don't understand what they did, and while you're watching the video, you hit a roadblock, you don't know how to solve the problem, you have your instructors there to be able to help you through the processes of what you're learning or whatever challenge you might have. You have them there 100%. Okay, so these are the things that you go through. Now, for Rosalind, you made mention that you're not so certain of which career path you want to get into. As somebody that is, and I think is a librarian. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this link. I'll drop this in the chat box right now. So you can go ahead, click on the link. Once you click on the link, it will bring you to this quiz. So if you take this quiz is a personality-based quiz. And what it's going to do is going to look at things you're comfortable doing, things you are very comfortable doing, that it's going to help you not really stress you or burn your heart on a job, then be able to predict the career path you should be looking to get into, right? So I'm going to drop this in a chat box, click on it, and let me know in the chat box also what the response is, right? Okay, so Roslyn, I've dropped that link in the chat box. Kindly click on it, then take the quiz. Then whatever the answer is, whatever the quiz tells you to do, let me know. Every other person that's on this call that might be in the same position, or they want to know, oh, am I even certain that data engineering is best for me? You also want to click on the link. Click on that link and make sure that you take it, register, secure, fill in your details, take the quiz. And once you do that, you'll be able to know exactly, answer some few questions. I think the quiz is about 2 minutes or 3 minutes, so it does not take time. So just take it and the answer, let me know in the chat box. I'll get back to the chat box, okay? So every other person, not only limited to Rosalind, every other person that feel they are not so certain of what they want to do, and not sure if cloud engineering is the best one option for them, click on the link and let's see what the response might be, right? Once you have your response, just drop the link, the response. Let's say you're looking to become a business analyst or still telling you to become a data engineer or data scientist, just drop that in the chat box, okay? Now, when you're looking to transition or when you are looking to get into the tech space, there's a particular formula that with analytics we adopt. And this formula has been working for 5 years because we've been at this for over 5 years now. And what exactly is this formula that we're talking about? It's pretty simple. So when you identify your career path that you want to get into, is it data engineering? Or if you're taking the quiz, which one exactly are you looking to get into? That means you've identified the career path you want to get into. What you want to do is you want to actually learn that particular thing. You want to learn it to understand exactly what your responsibilities are. Then you want to position yourself. Positioning is something I will talk about in my next slide. What are the things you get to do to furthermore position yourself to make sure that you are able to know how to tailor your CV to jobs you're applying to? You know how to strategically plan your application, because after you must have learned a particular career, let's say you've learned data engineering, you want to position yourself in that space. You want to position yourself to make sure that anybody that is hiring a data engineer, they see you. Then you want to apply to jobs. This is the formula that we've adopted over years, and it has really worked for a lot of people. A lot of people. And when you're talking about the employability, which is positioning yourself, the first thing you want to do in this space is revamp and review your CV. Everybody might have a CV currently. Some might have a CV, some might not have a CV. It doesn't really matter. When you go through the program for 6 months, you're working on projects, meaning you are building your skill, you are building your experience. So for people that does not have any experience, you have ability to put this experience in your CV. But for people that have experience in different sector of the economy, you also have the 6 months to add up to build up your data engineering and technical experience and add them to your CV. Now, what we do at Analytics is we have an in-house professional that would take your CV and revamp it for you as a data engineer, as the data engineering industry standard CV. It will do that for you, then give it to you. And you also have a session where you will learn how to tailor your CV to apply to jobs. So let's say, for example, you're looking to become a GCP cloud engineer. Or no, you're looking to apply to a company that is really focused on GCP. That is what they have almost all in the job description that they have. Then you come about, you have AWS all around your CV. If you use that CV that has AWS, despite the fact that both of them are cloud engineering role, But if you go ahead to use that CV that has AWS to apply to that job, there's a big chance that your CV will not even get to the hiring manager. That's because the ATS, the applicant tracking system, is not seeing the skill or the tool they need to execute in the role that you're looking to apply for. So it's not even going to accept your CV. It's going to read back your CV. And most of the time, when you apply to roles like that, 24 hours later, you will see a rejection email telling you, oh, they are moving on with other people. It's a lie. They're not moving on with anybody. Your CV never even got to the hiring manager. So you will learn how to tailor your CV to the roles that you're looking to apply to. Then when you do that, the next thing you want to do is you want to optimize your LinkedIn, because LinkedIn can never be underestimated. LinkedIn is a platform where you have ability to secure a job that you never even applied for. And how do you do that? By making sure your LinkedIn is optimized. When anybody is looking to hire a data engineer and they search on LinkedIn, your profile should be coming up. That's something you also learn how to do within the training. Then you have navigating the job market. A lot of people are looking to get into cloud GCP roles in Europe, or sorry, Microsoft Azure role in Europe. How do you search for companies that's offering roles in this particular area? This is where you get to learn in your navigating the job market, where you learn how to navigate the job market to get the jobs that you need. And also in navigating the job market, we have some premium job boards that we partner with. And these job boards, they literally, we get there, we go to the job boards, we scrape the jobs, and we bring them into your classroom. Now, these jobs that we bring into your classrooms, they're not jobs you find anywhere. They're not jobs you find on Indeed, on LinkedIn, Glassdoor. Never. You never find them there, because these are jobs that before even the companies that put them there, they paid for it. Before you have access to them, paid for it. Meaning they are serious people. They are people that are really looking to get things done. Right. So these are the jobs you get access to, giving you a better opportunity of getting or landing yourself into an interview. And when you're looking to land in an interview, before you attend any interview, you have the opportunity to book a one-on-one session with a professional that will guide you and prepare you for that role you're looking to get into. So you're looking to get a job that will give you the opportunity to work from a remote setting. How do you showcase to the hiring managers or people interviewing you that you have the capacity to execute all the responsibilities or all the tasks given to you from a remote setting without supervision? How do you showcase all these things? These are the things you learn within your interview preparation sessions, where you learn how to do all these things, communicate clearly. All these things, you get to learn them before you get into any interview. Then when you're looking at getting the job, you have opportunity to get reference letter from 10 Analytics and also from Amdari, the company where you'll be doing your 2-month internship. You have the opportunity for 100%. Then you also have what we call on-the-job support. Just as it was says, you're on the job, you hit a roadblock, you need some guidance, you have opportunity to get a professional to come on board with you and guide you to solve that challenge that you might be facing. Then you have the weekly mentorship session, majorly focusing on people that are getting into this space, having professionals hold their hand through the process of transitioning. You have that access every week. That happens every Thursday. There's one happening later tonight. I think there's about 2 hours from now. There's another one happening. Okay. You get access to that 100%. And for people looking to get skilled and be able to upskill to offer their services on a more freelance approach, you have sessions on Upwork that will teach you how to set up a profile and be able to offer your services to individuals and organizations at the same time. So these are the things you do to position yourself, to get yourself. And when you have all this, then you take it and you start applying to jobs. It gives you better leverage of actually getting that job. These are the things that we've had lots of people do within the training, and they've been able to land a job. It might seem so impossible. Trust me, we've been doing this for over 5 years, and we've had lots of participants go through the same process. They learned a particular program, they positioned themselves, they applied to jobs, and they were able to get a job. It is that pretty straightforward. and we'll have lots of people. This particular gentleman, his name is God, went through the data engineering program actually. And what he did was he actually learned data engineering. Then he positioned himself by attending mentorship sessions, knowing how to tailor his CV, multiple interview preparations. He attended multiple. He also built his portfolio, which is going to house all the project and experience that he has. And he was able to apply to jobs strategically. And he was able to do that because he went through the same process. And in January 2025, he landed a job with NHS as a data warehouse and ETL developer. And that role came with sponsorship with NHS, right? So, and trust me, there's a lot of people that have been able to go through a program. This particular lady, NL Jaide, did the data science program and was able to land a job. She's currently in UK, and she was able to land a job as a data scientist in Germany, right? She's working remotely, fully remotely as a data scientist in Germany, right? And you also have this particular gentleman, he's actually an 18-year-old boy that went through the program. Went through the program, he learned data analytics, learned how to package a CV for an 18-year-old boy, learned how to package his CV, he started applying, and he was able to land himself a job as a data processor and analyst with Market Trends International. This particular boy landed a job 4 months after completing his program as a data analyst. So definitely you know that there is nothing like it's not possible. It's very possible. All you have to do is learn, package yourself, know exactly how to apply, and definitely the job will come calling. And definitely, like I said, by the time you're done with your training, you'll be getting opportunity to have both analytics and Amdari on your CV, and you also have opportunity to get internship from both organizations. And you might be wondering, do I get certificate after the training? 100%. You'll be getting a certificate after your training, and your certificate is actually being accredited by the American Council of Training and Development. Okay, so you're getting the certificate after your training, and 100%. You might be wondering, what exactly is the next thing to do? How do I get started? What is the next thing to do to be able to take part of the learning? The next training, the next cohort we have of people going through the data science program and any of the other program that we offer is coming up on the 4th of October, right? So the next cohort is starting on the 4th of October. And to be part of this cohort starting 4th of October, you have ability to get into it. And the cost of the program is actually $1,000, right? $1,000 is the cost for any of the program you're looking to get into. So if you're looking to get into data engineering to learn everything we've talked about today, or you're looking to get into data science, data analytics, or any of the program you're looking to get into, the cost is $1,000. But trust me, it gets better than that. If you're looking to secure spots between now and 19th of September, you'll be getting a whopping 25% discount, which is a early bird discount for people that register early for the program. So between now and 19th of September, if you're able to make payment, pay this particular amount, you will be getting 25% discount. And it gets better. Now, you see the 25% discount, you have the ability to now even pay in installments, meaning you have ability to pay that's $750. You have ability to break it down and pay up to 5 times. Meaning to join the class starting by 4th of October, all you have to do is pay $150 and you'll be able to get everything you need to join the class, right? That is exactly what you'll be getting. And you'll be able to do that 100%. But if you're also looking at 20% discount, which is now going to be the early bird discount is over. The 20% discount is between the 20th of September and 29th of September, which you'll be getting a 20% discount. So instead of paying $750, the total you'll be paying is going to be $800, right? So try as much as possible as you can to get into it. Try as much as possible to pay your $150 and be able to join the program starting by October 4th. Now, if you click on the link in the chat box, which my colleagues are dropping currently, you'll be able to secure a spot and get into the space 100%. Before I go ahead to walk you through how to make your payment, Rosalind, have you taken the quiz? Do you have any response? What's the response to the quiz you took? So that I'll be able to get to answer you. Okay, I can see the chat. I can see any response in the chat. So I'm going to walk you through how to make your payment right now and show you exactly how to secure a spot and pay your initial deposit of select your payment plan. So whatever plan you're looking to do, you have ability to select that payment plan and work with it. So I'm going to be walking you through how to do this in a few minutes. So if you click on that link that my colleagues are sharing in the chat box, it will definitely bring you to the enrollment center. Let me share that part of my screen. That part of my screen. Yes. So if you click on that link that my colleagues have dropped in the chat box, it will definitely bring you to this website, which is the analytics website. And what you want to see, immediate thing you'll be seeing is currently you have 25% off for the October cohort. And this 25% discount ends in 8 days and 3 hours. So you want to make sure that whatever you do, you secure that spot within this duration of time. Then for whichever program you're looking to go for, everything is here. If you're going for the data analytics, business analysis, but in this case, we're looking at the data engineering program. So you want to click on the data engineering program, right? Click on the data engineering program, which it says buy now. Then you'll be able to, once you click on that, you want to click on enroll now, which is over here. Or you might just want to even scroll down to look at the course description. Everything is highlighted here, where you have your detailed explanation of things you get to learn within the program. All these things you get to click on them to see exactly the things you'll be learning for the duration of program. And all these things you're learning, remember, you are always working on projects to help you build other skills that we're talking about. So you want to scroll down, see everything you've been learning. Then once you're at the tail end of the program, of the course outline, you have an opportunity to click on enroll now at the tail end of the page. So click on the enroll now. So if you click on the enroll now, you have ability to select the cohort you're starting. So to see the current discount, the 25% discount is currently available for people looking to start in October, 4th of October, or people looking to start by November. So if you're looking like, oh, October 4th is a bit near, I need to set some things, I need to plan my schedule to make sure that I don't miss out on things, you can also select 8th of November so you don't miss out on the discount. So whichever one that works for you, you want to select it. Then you want to make sure that you scroll down. Once after selecting the payment plan that works for you, want to scroll down and select the payment plan that works for you. So remember, the 25% discounts have you to pay instead of $1,000, you get to pay $750 US. Or if you're looking to pay either one time or two times, you even get yourself additional discounts of paying £712.50. Either you're paying one time, or if you're paying two times, you get to also take advantage of paying a total of $712, which is going to have you pay $356, right? So if these two options does not really work for you, you want to make sure you select other payment plan that works for you. If it is the 3 times installment, and select it, and that will have you pay $250 every month for 3 months. If it's the 4 months, you have 187 every month for 4. If it's the 5, then you have $150 every month for 5 months. So as you're paying in installments, you're getting value for the program. Payment plan is 5 months. Your total learning duration is 6 months. So you can see that even by the time you are almost a professional, you are still paying, meaning it makes it very easy for you transition, right? So what you want to do, you want to make sure you click on the payment plan that works for you, and you click on apply discounts. When you click on apply discounts, you set up your profile. If you're clicking this for the first time, you set up your account on the platform, then you make your payments. As you can see, I already have my account signed up. So it has my name and my email, my phone number, it has all the details. And all I have to do is just continue and secure my spots. If you see, if I made payment today, 11th of September, my next payment is coming 11th of October, 10th of November, 10th of December, and 9th of January next year. By that time, I'm almost done with my program. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you click on confirm. You want to confirm this. You want to make sure you read the terms and conditions. Then you click on pay now. So once you do that, get onboarded immediately and you get to start the next class starting with the program, right? So this is exactly how you go ahead to secure spots by clicking on that link that my colleague must have dropped in the chat box, okay? And if you have questions, definitely I'll be able to take a little bit of your questions before we end this. So if you have questions, you can drop in the chat box, but also make sure that you try as much as possible to secure a spot and you don't miss out on the discount. And trust me, there's a lot of such people that have gone through the program and they've been able to secure their spot and they've been able to secure that success story, transitioning into a role that is phenomenal. Idris, when he went through the data engineering program, he was able to land himself with a job with Jaguar Land Rover in UK as a data engineer. He left that role for another senior analytics engineer, also in UK. So it makes it very fantastic. Michael over here also landed a job as a sales data engineer in a software company also in the UK. So you have a lot of opportunities that people do go through and be able to secure themselves that high quality job. Right? We have lots of them. But when you get the link, you can easily go through this particular slide, success stories. You'll have a lot of opportunities to click on the link and be able to see exactly how Analytics has been impactful to their career and helping them transition. All right, iPhone said, I took the quiz and below is my result. Yeah, I'll not boxed in. You are paying attention. If not, check further. It's okay, you don't have to figure it out. Okay, so I think what that means is book a free clarity session. And in that case, what will happen for you, iPhone? I don't know your name. That's what I'm saying, iPhone. Book a clarity session. And that clarity session, what we'll have is you'll have professionals that will now look at things you've done. They'll look at your work experience. They look at things you're passionate about. And they will to know exactly which of these career paths you should be looking at getting into. 100%. So you can do that, book a clarity session, and definitely you'll be able to get it. All right. All right. So Paul, you can also do the same thing. Book a clarity session, and you'll have professionals get to speak with you. Right. All right, Paul, you can also book a clarity session. Okay. All right. It can be very confusing. Trust me, it can be. All right. You're welcome. All right. So just before we end the session, does anybody have any quick question? So I can just quickly attend to you. You can ask your question. Probably, let's say you can use your reason if you want to speak. You can just drop in the chat box so I can attend to you quickly before we end the session. Does anybody have any question? I'm trying to take a peep in the if you want to speak, you can just indicate that you want to speak and just indicate and I'll call you. Or if not, you can just drop it in the chat box. Right. Kindly do make sure you to get this particular session is recorded. Make sure you complete the attendance that my colleague shared in the chat box earlier. That way you'll be able to get this recorded video and also get a slide that was used for this particular session. Right? Okay. Do we have any question before we end for the night? Okay, all right. So for you, Rosalind, also for you, Paul, book a clarity session and definitely you will have a professional attend to you. It's free of charge. You don't have to pay anything for it. Book a clarity session, you have a professional attend to you, they look at things you've been doing and how you'll be able to transition, which of these career paths you should get into that will favor you, okay? All right, so at the absence of any other questions, thank you all for being here. I truly do appreciate time taken. I do appreciate it. Thank you all for being here. Rosalind, you're welcome. Looking forward to see each and every one of you join the program either by October or by November. Make sure you secure a spot and you don't miss out on the quiz questions, all right? Rashid, glad you enjoyed the session. Glad the session was impactful. Remember, there's a lot of opportunities out there. And the reason why there's a lot of opportunities out there is because there's a limit to the professionals that can actually function on this role. So take advantage of this opportunity, get skilled, and see yourself getting on a job that is career transformation and financial stability, right? So thank you. At the absence of any other further questions, thank you all for being here. And I'll be looking forward to see you all join the program and start the journey of the greatness. Thank you all for being here. Cheers and bye for now.